Talksport. Only 8 sides in Champions League history have made it through the group with only 1 point from their first 3 games. One of them was Spurs 5 years ago, who went on to make the final, where they lost to Liverpool in the stadium where Celtic face Atletico Madrid tonight. It's live on Talksport with the former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside Ian Danter.
Thanks, Adrian. Very good evening to you, wherever and however you're listening to Talksport. Lots of anniversaries on the minds of players and spectators inside the Estadio Metropolitano this evening. Atletico Madrid, it's almost 50 years since they reached the old European Cup final, and they beat Celtic in the semi-final to reach that final, which they eventually lost to Bayern Munich. Go forward a few years further, 11 years ago today, Celtic had arguably their greatest night ever in the modern Champions League format when they beat Barcelona at Celtic Park 2-1. Victor Wanyama, Tony Watts and all that. But of course Celtic have done what Atletico have never done and won the old European Cup, the first British side to do so. But with just 1 point from their first 3 games, Celtic have got to try and arrest a rotten run of form on their travels in European competition and give themselves just a ghost of a chance of making it through, if not to the round of 16, then certainly finish in 3rd place and drop into the Europa League to keep European football in Glasgow, or at least that side of Glasgow, into the early part of 2024. To that end, Brendan Rodgers has made 4 changes to his Celtic side that won 3-0 at Ross County at the weekend. Alistair Johnson, Matt O'Reilly, Kyogo Furuhashi and Lewis Palmer are all recalled. Ralston, Turnbull, O and Yang are those that drop out. So Joe Hart is the keeper, Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor are their back 4. 3 in midfield, Paolo Bernardo, Callum McGregor and Matt O'Reilly. Lewis Palmer, Kyogo Furuhashi and Dyson Maeda are the front 3. Callum McGregor and Koke with our referee from Slovakia, Ivan Kruzliak, sorting out the coin toss. As for Atleti, they're forced into 1 change. Rodrigo de Paul was sent off at Celtic Park in the 2-2 draw, the reverse fixture. Angel Correa gets his place, and Jose Jimenez comes in at centre-half for Savic. That means that Antoine Griezmann, who played up front with Morata in the defeat at Las Palmas on Friday, drops into midfield, showing his versatility. Of course, he's played in an advanced midfield role for his country an awful lot. So Jan Oblak is the keeper. Jose Jimenez, Axel Witsel and Mario Hermoso are the Atleti back 3. 5 across midfield, Nahuel Molina, Pablo Barrios, Koke, Antoine Griezmann and Rodrigo Riquelme, and then Angel Correa and Alvaro Morata as a front 2. Ready for the off on Talksport. We'll keep you updated with all of the other scores. In Scotland, St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 1 in the 1 Scottish Premiership game going on tonight. And in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, West Ham United's academy side are 2-0 up at Cheltenham Town. The whistle goes in the Wanda Metropolo and we're underway. Celtic in their change strip of all dark shirts, shorts and socks. Atleti in their red and white striped tops, blue shorts and red socks. And they're attacking the goal away to our left as we look, as Celtic try and keep the ball in play on this near side, just in front of the massive technical areas they've got at this stadium. But Dyson Maeda couldn't keep the ball in play, so it's a throw for Atletico Madrid. Twice finalists of this competition, Stuart Pearce in recent years, but came up against their city rivals Real and lost both times.
Yeah, I mean, consistently they've been pretty good, haven't they? Atletico under Simeone, been a fantastic team, and they've sort of embraced European football, Champions League football, and been outstanding at it. But they've not picked the big prize up.
And of course, they've won Liga titles as well under Simeone, breaking that stranglehold of Real and Barcelona on the Spanish league title. Now, Dyson Maeda scraps for the ball just inside the Atleti half. He's won a free kick actually for Celtic, just inside their own half. Wrexham 0, Port Vale 1 in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. I've got to get used to saying that now that they've changed the sponsor. I'll just say Football League Trophy if I forget. Here's Maeda coming forward for Celtic. The ball's whacked against him in the midfield by Koke. That Motherwell goal apparently was ruled out in Scotland. It's still 0-0 between St Johnstone and Motherwell. St Johnstone got their first league win last week. Here's Alistair Johnson for Celtic, looking for Maeda. Rolls his defender, gets to the byline, right hand side, pulls the cross back, and it's stumped out of play for a throw. Again, as I've seen already in Europe this season, Stuart Pearce, good, bright start from Celtic, 0-0.
Yeah, they've done extremely well down this right hand side. Johnston and Maeda combining well, but Maeda, I must say, poor cross, eventually cut out by the first person.
Here's Alistair Johnson again for Celtic, midway point of the Atleti half, faced up by Griezmann, goes infield to the captain Callum McGregor. Now Liam Scales finds Greg Taylor, who gave away the penalty that allowed Atleti to equalise early on. Taylor gets to the byline, Witsel goes out to engage him, so he rolls it back to Lewis Palmer. Little flick up by Matt O'Reilly, can't find its intended target, but the ball's only half cleared by Atleti. Celtic have won it back inside the Atleti half, out on the left hand side. Scales tries to fire it along the deck into the feet of O'Reilly, but Witsel will tidy up for Atleti, and Jan Oblak clears. Brilliant touch for Morata, and Griezmann with such a lovely ball out to the left hand side, trying to get Rodrigo Riquelme away, but he was brilliantly tackled by Alistair Johnson, and then Griezmann puts the ball out of play. Riquelme still rolling around in agony, claiming he was fouled by Alistair Johnson, but it looked a clean challenge to me. 3 gone, 0-0.
I've just seen 2 absolutely wonderful challenges in a game where, you know, the challenge and the tackle seems to be outlawed slightly. First one by Johnston, and then Griezmann coming back, going to ground, and a good sliding tackle by him.
Well, the Slovakian referee saw nothing wrong with that challenge from Johnston. Celtic have it on halfway with Greg Taylor. He'll lay it off to Scales, who's impressed since coming to Celtic from Irish football, from Shamrock Rovers. Went on loan to Aberdeen last season, but Brendan Rodgers entrusting him with a regular spot in Celtic's back 4. Ball clipped up looking for Lewis Palmer out on the left-hand side of the front 3 for Celtic, but it drifts over his head and goes out for a throw that Molina will take for Atletico Madrid. 4 minutes gone on Talksport. 0-0 the score in the Wanda Metropolitano. Remember the group situation: Celtic 1 point, Lazio 4, Atletico 5 and Feyenoord 6, and Lazio are entertaining Feyenoord right at this moment as well in Group E's other fixture tonight.
We talk about Celtic and their form in European football, and when you see what Scales and O'Reilly, their elevation as players, it's hardly surprising that they've not got a blue chip list of results behind them, you know. Yeah,
the away form is not great, just 1 win in 9 European fixtures, and they've conceded a corner from way out Celtic, as ball just ricocheted off a defender and goes away and behind to the left-hand side for a corner kick to Atletico Madrid, their first of the game, so a first test for the Celtic back line. Morata always a danger from set pieces, and of course when you've got a player like Antoine Griezmann in your side, delivery's always likely to be good.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I think when you come to places like Atletico, what you don't want to do is concede a set play, you know. You can understand the ability.
And it comes from Griezmann. Oh, it's a poor punch from Joe Hart. He could have caught it. He elected to punch it with his left fist, and it didn't quite get the distance he wanted, but ball ends up going out of play on the near side for a throw for Atletico. A good strange decision from Joe Hart not to claim there.
It certainly was. It's one of those where I think he made his mind up to punch before he saw the trajectory of the ball.
Comes out to Griezmann, edge of the area. He scored! Atletico have the early goal, and it's Antoine Griezmann with a low, crisp strike from the edge of the area that beat Joe Hart, nestled in the bottom corner. And so much for Celtic's bright start. They've gone behind inside 6 minutes. It's Atletico Madrid 1, Celtic 0.
Well, a really scruffy punch by Joe Hart, and they never got the ball back. They got a throw-in, conceded a throw-in their right back position, and from there the ball worked to the edge of the box, clearance header and a deflection, I think, off Carter Vickers potentially, that took it just too far away from Joe Hart. No chance of him stopping it from there. Yeah, looking at the replay, just a deflection, wasn't it, Dance?
Yeah. Very slightest nick as two Celtic players went to ground. It came off the heel of Cameron Carter-Vickers' right boot and took it away from Joe Hart as he plunged to his left. And that's a third goal in successive Champions League games for Antoine Griezmann. The evergreen midfielder come attacker for Atletico and France. Over 350 appearances for Atleti. First came here, nearly 10 years ago now. And 44 goals for his country as well. And Celtic now have an uphill task on Talksport. A goal down in Madrid to Atleti. And Rotherham United over on Talksport 2 lead Ipswich by 1-0. Sam Nombi putting the Millers ahead at the New York Stadium. Just swipe on your Talksport app if you want to hear commentary of that game with Mark Wilson and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk in South Yorkshire. Rotherham 1, Ipswich 0. Remember, Rotherham just won winning 9 going into this game in the Championship. Ipswich 10 unbeaten in the league. Atleti a goal up and have possession just outside their own penalty area on the left-hand side. Lovely skill from Mario Hermoso, but tries to roll the ball up to halfway, but that's comfortably gobbled up by Cameron Carter-Vickers. And now Greg Taylor, the left-back for Celtic, out to the left-hand side, and Lewis Palmer. Honduran goes backwards to square to McGregor. And all of Brendan Rodgers' plans, Stuart Pearce, just go up in smoke.
Well, listen, I've been there many times as a manager. You know, you set your team up and you want to get off to a good start, and all of a sudden 6 minutes into the game, especially away at a football club the magnitude of Atletico, and you're a goal down, they've got to steady the ship now, play their way back into the game.
Joe Hart has the ball inside his own 6-yard box, plays it out to the left-hand side for Scales. Taylor plays a neat ball up the far touchline, but poor touch from Lewis Palmer, and Atleti have it back, albeit just for a moment. But Correa with a heavy touch allows Celtic to bring it clear. Neat ball in field for Callum McGregor, and he finds Matt O'Reilly. His influence is going to be important. Tried to play Maeda through with the ball over halfway, so nearly found its way through, but it was a brilliant interception by Riquelme. But O'Reilly has it back for Celtic. Fleetwood 3, Leicester 0 in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, and Colchester 0, Swindon 1 in League 2 tonight. That was the game that was called off on the opening day of the season because of a waterlogged pitch at the job serve. But Swindon, who got walloped by Aldershot in the Cup on Saturday, lead through Jake Young. Maeda for Celtic down the right wing. Celtic a goal behind on Talksport. We've played nearly 10 minutes at the Wanda Metropolitano. And Atleti clear up to halfway. Morata's giving chase, but Liam Scales comfortably there first to just guide the ball back to Joe Hart. And Liam Scales, again, 25 years of age, joined a couple of years ago from Shamrock Rovers. Now, Matt O'Reilly, the inventive midfielder that we were talking about with Adrian Durham before kick-off. Born in England but represents Denmark, was actually meant to be in one of the senior squads and might have got some game time to make his senior Denmark debut, but it didn't quite come off for him. His time will surely come for his national side. Scales has to turn the ball back to Joe Hart. Paris Saint-Germain lead against Milan in Newcastle's group. Remember, earlier today you heard it live on Talksport 2. Newcastle lost 2-0 in Dortmund, and Milan Skriniar up from the back to put Paris Saint-Germain ahead at the San Siro.
That's probably the result that we're suggesting that we want for Newcastle, isn't it, really?
Shot coming in from Lewis Palmer from distance out on the left-hand side, but it was a comfortable save for Jan Oblak. It could have been awkward. It almost bounced just in front of the keeper from Slovenia, but he held on to it well. 1-0 to Atleti.
Yeah, he took that really well, to be fair. It could have been a very awkward effort that bounced literally right in front of him.
Cambridge 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0 in the Football League Trophy. Saikou Djane. And Celtic, a goal down, coming forward down the left-hand side with Callum McGregor. Looks for Lewis Palmer. Atleti players look for an offside flag that hasn't come. Up to the edge of the area, it's just tucked back in midfield by Paulo Bernardo. Now Carter Vickers just ahead of the centre circle for Celtic. Options left and right. Goes right for Alistair Johnson. Early ball into the area. Kyogo, we've not seen much of him so far tonight. Awkward, heavy touch from him. And Atleti can clear, but only half clear. Carter Vickers trying to wrestle for possession on halfway. Goes to ground. Doesn't get a foul, but a throw-in's given Celtic's way anyway. 12 gone, 1-0 to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, Palmer's operated quite well on the left-hand side at this moment for Celtic. He's gone past Molina once where I thought he should have had a corner, but it wasn't given, and he's just causing him the odd problem, and keep feeding him. I think they're getting more from that side of the pitch than certainly Maeda's side.
Well, he's dug the ball out across to the right-hand side and does Maeda. Now Callum McGregor has possession for Celtic. Back for Liam Scales, just ahead of the centre circle. Plays it out wide left to Lewis Palmer. Early ball into the box, looking for O'Reilly. Atletico get a foot in and get it clear. Griezmann with a heavy touch, but he's helped out by a strong run over the halfway line by Barrios. And now here's Morata, giving it back to the edge of the area. Chance for number 2, great block by McGregor, because Riquelme was suddenly in at the edge of the D. Got his shot away, but Callum McGregor tracking back, diverted the ball away from goal. That could have been 2-0.
Yeah, I've got to say, Riquelme's gone far too far for Celtic's own good. He's cut inside, gone past 2 players in the centre circle. Scales has given his wicket away a bit too cheaply for my liking. And then McGregor's done brilliantly to stay with his man and get a block in.
Atleti 1, Celtic 0 on Talksport. Ian Danter and Stuart Pearce with you. Rotherham leading Ipswich by a goal to 0 in the Championship. That's live right now on Talksport 2 for your choice of listening tonight across our network. And we've got more live football for you tomorrow. FC Copenhagen against Manchester United. Again, an 8 o'clock kickoff live here on Talksport. And then Toulouse-Liverpool in the Europa League on Talksport 2 at tea time on Thursday. Now to the left-hand side, Greg Taylor for Celtic. 14 minutes gone. Brendan Rodgers' side finding themselves behind in the very early stages to Antoine Griezmann's clinical strike. Maeda trying to get to the penalty area, right-hand side, went to ground under pressure from Riquelme, and the referee was quick to wave away any claims for a penalty kick for Celtic. Instead, it's a goal kick for Atleti, who lead 1-0.
Well, I've got to say, the referee probably didn't have a clue whether there was a foul in there or not, and I'm not sure I did. So, if in doubt, play on and give nothing.
Well, there is a potential penalty check from the VAR in Nyon. They're just checking. So the Slovakian referee just saying, wait a minute, and puts his finger to his ear and checks his communication equipment. And he says, oh no, I've heard now. He was a bit worried his earpiece wasn't working.
The arm across the shoulder there, I think, would be the only thing that a penalty might have been given for. There was 2 handballs as they both, one from each player, as they fell to the floor, but I think the referee got the right decision. So
Atletico Madrid take the goal kick downfield. Quarter of an hour gone on Talksport. 1-0 to Atleti. Milan have equalised against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. That's 1-1. Rafael Leao with the equaliser. St Johnstone, having had a goal going against them that was ruled out, and now 2-0 up against Motherwell. Looking for back-to-back wins, St Johnstone. Bottom of the SPFL, but Andy Considine's got the second. Long ball downfield for Atleti, looking for Alvaro Morata. He picks it up again inside the area, left-hand side, checks onto his right, and the shot was goal-bound, but headed away by Carter Vickers. Down the right-hand side comes Barrios. It's worked back into midfield. Neatly done by Molina. Ball back into the area, but that's a very comfortable claim for Joe Hart inside his penalty area. 16 minutes gone. Atletico Madrid 1, Celtic 0.
I think even at these early stages, Dance, you can see when Atletico cut through Celtic, they are very, very clinical and economical with their passing and cause real problems. Celtic just haven't got that cutting edge at this moment in time.
Maeda picking it up, right wing for Celtic. Nutmegs Riquelme, tries to send the ball into the box, and there's Griezmann back defending, but it is a Celtic corner, their first of the game, but they're a goal behind.
Yeah, not bad work there on the side by Maeda, cutting, but once again failed to get that cross into a telling area in the box.
So Luis Palma comes across, another player with holes in the back of his socks, which seems to be the fashion nowadays. Gets a quizzical look from the man sat to my immediate right. Here comes the corner from Palmer, right-footed to around about the penalty spot, headed out of the area. Celtic will try and keep it alive inside the Atleti half. It's back with Johnston at the edge of the centre circle, and he works it out to the left-hand side, and Taylor. Now Paolo Bernardo plays a square ball across to Callum McGregor, drills it out to this near side where it's well kept in play by Luis Palma. He now drifts in field, gives it back to Johnston, and then Taylor works it out to the left wing. Maeda's out on that side now. Once again he comes up against Griezmann, and once again Griezmann comes out on top and concedes a throw.
I tell you what, Griezmann, not known for his defensive prowess, has probably put more challenges in than any player on the pitch at the moment.
He's a fantastic footballer going forward, but yes, he's showing all the qualities that a manager like Diego Simeone would look for in terms of they shall not pass. Here's Scales for Celtic. 18 minutes gone. Out to the left-hand side. Palmer chips the ball into the box. Headed out only as far as Matt O'Reilly with his back to goal. Flicks it into the box. Maeda is offside as he went for the ball as it dropped inside the box, and I think he knew it. So Atleti will have a free kick around the 6-yard line. 1-0 they lead.
Yeah, smart feet there by O'Reilly. He's getting one or two plaudits around, received the ball with his back to play. Little drag through his legs, got turned in the box, but Maeda had just slipped into an offside position.
O'Reilly's Celtic's top scorer in the SPFL. He's got 6 so far this campaign, 3 assists as well. Former Fulham Academy, where your pal Stuart Wigley used to work. Yeah. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, Steve Wigley. I rang him today actually and just sounded him out about O'Reilly, and he was very impressed. Likened him to probably Frank Lampard, to be fair. You know, not someone who's blessed with real blinding pace, but can get up and down continuously, eye for a goal, and, you know, he gave him a sound recommendation suggesting he'll end up in the Premier League at some stage.
We also heard in the build-up from Russell Martin, who coached him at MK Dons, who's tried to subsequently sign him for Swansea and then Southampton, where he's now managing in the Championship. Wasn't able to prize him out of Celtic on either occasion. In the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, Leyton Orient equalised against 10-man Portsmouth. Joe Pigott has equalised at Brisbane Road. Greg Taylor's just got a whack on his shin from Molina, so it's a free kick to Celtic. We're approaching the 20-minute mark on Talksport, and once again Celtic have got problems on the road in Europe. They are a goal down to the early strike from Antoine Griezmann. They have possession, Celtic, in the centre circle. And Liam Scales plays it out to the left-hand side, and Taylor, but he was immediately set upon as suddenly Atleti start the press and work downfield to force Celtic back. Celtic then try and go over the top to Maeda down the right wing, showing good strength, but couldn't get away from Jimenez, but doesn't give up, the Japanese, but then he goes in really strongly on Riquelme.
Oh, I fear the worst. Oh, fortunately,
the referee went for his top pocket, but that's where he keeps his yellow card, and that's all it will be, it seems, at this moment for Daizen Maeda. But of course VAR may well take a check on whether to upgrade that decision, but it was, and indeed they are checking for a red card. But it was a strong challenge, Stuart Pearce, from the Japanese.
It was. I mean,
we didn't really have eyes for the ball either.
No, he was dangling a leg. I don't think there were studs up, but he's dangled a leg at it and ended up being fairly dangerous. To be honest with you, I don't think there was... Well, I'm sure Hermoso will disagree with me. I don't think there was too much intent there, but he's caught him.
So Hermoso is down getting treatment, and Diego Simeone has made his feelings quite clear on the matter and is prowling his technical area. Meantime, in the Championship over on Talksport 2, Ipswich are level at Rotherham. It's 1-1. Sam Morsey, the Egyptian midfielder, has levelled it up for the Tractor Boys in South Yorkshire. Commentary of that game continues over on Talksport 2, and the referee here has been asked to go and look at the screen pitch side as to whether to upgrade this yellow card for Daisen Maeda to a red. Now he's seeing a still image. This is what worries some ex-professionals. I don't know whether you're in that camp, Stu, whether the referee needs to see the moving image rather than the still image.
Yeah, what he's done, he's got to the ball late and he's got his foot up in the air. Maeda, sorry. And Hermoso swung right through it and caught his foot right on his shin. He'll go for this, I'm afraid. The referee will see the still of where his foot's ended up and he'll go, because he's got his studs straight down his shin, I'm afraid.
It looks like it could be another red card for Celtic in Europe, and the yellow card is cancelled out, and the red is issued to Daisen Maeda, and Celtic once again are down to 10 men in the Champions League. Maeda sent off, they're 1-0 down. Penalty at the Etihad. Mickey Gray.
Manchester City 1, Young Boys 0. Erling Haaland from the penalty spot. It was Mateus Nunes, great ability in the 18-yard box, a little Cruyff turn, and it was Sandro Lauper on a yellow card who fouls him, gives the penalty away, and Erling Haaland picks up the ball with his left foot and just slots the ball through the centre of the goal to give City a well-deserved lead. Manchester City 1, Young Boys 0.
Atletico Madrid 1, 10-man Celtic 0 on Talksport here this Tuesday evening. And Brendan Rodgers must be wondering if he's walked under any ladders.
Yeah. I mean, just you look at the challenge a couple of times, and I don't think the referee's got any other option. I think his first option of brandishing a yellow was fair enough. When you look at it again a couple of times, it was very dangerous to his opponent, and I think he's made the right decision in the red card and sending off.
I don't suppose that changes the defensive formation for Celtic that much. Play 4-3-2 now effectively, with one of the front three having had his marching orders. Barrow 1, Liverpool 1 in the Football League trophy up in Cumbria. Sean Nataluku equalising. Not many of those academy sides are doing that well, as usual in the Football League trophy. As Atletico come forward, ball into the box, almost found Morata. It's only half cleared. Griezmann picks it up, fires it across goal, and only just wide. And this is the worry now for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic. Atleti have got 65 minutes to press home their advantage in terms of goals and men.
The clinical nature of the way they attack, when they get a sniff of danger, they really come after you, and that would have been a wonderful goal. He's hit it on the half volley, Griezmann, there, and it's just sailed probably a foot or two past the far post.
Riquelme, plenty of room left-hand side of the area, tries to pull it back, but Callum McGregor will divert it behind for a corner kick away on the left-hand side for Atletico Madrid. We're approaching the 25-minute mark on Talksport. Atletico 1, Celtic 0, but Celtic down to 10 men. If you've just tuned in, Daisen Maeda had a yellow card upgraded to red after a VAR review. And Griezmann's going to take this corner kick, left-footed outswinger from the French international. It's a clutch of Atletico players beyond the far post. In it comes from Griezmann, left-footed, to that far post, headed up in the air by Jimenez, but a comfortable claim for Joe Hart under his crossbar. What is Brendan Rodgers thinking right now in terms of tactical approach at this point, Stuart Pearce?
Well, the thing is, Dan, is they still need a goal, and probably a draw here on the face of things won't be a bad thing, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get him out of the group eventually. So where's his mindset at? He needs a goal, but you've also got to make sure that you don't get hit for a cricket score as well. So it's getting some sort of shape to the team that gives you enough attacking options. I always like with my teams, when I went down to 10 men, even if I started with one striker, when I went down to 10 men, I like to have two people up front. you know, because otherwise the ball comes back time and time and time again. So I quite enjoyed the 4-3-2 scenario potentially, and let your three cover that midfield area from side to side as best they could.
But of course what Celtic don't have in terms of the two that are left up front is a physical presence. Kyogo and Lewis Palmer are much more fleet of foot.
Yes.
Mayed is probably the more likely to be bullish and hold the ball up. Celtic have won a corner as the ball was whacked by Greg Taylor against the shins of Axel Witsel. Still takes some getting used to watching Axel Witsel as a centre-half, having seen him play so much of his career as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised more players don't rotate their position more often over their careers. We're seeing Griezmann operate.
Oh, Lewis Palmer with a corner kick, and it's diverted away from goal by Jan Oblak. Defender had a swing and a miss at the near post, almost caught out Oblak, but he reacted superbly to tip it away. Otherwise, that could have been an equaliser.
Well, it was Morata, wasn't it? He's had a swing at it, and it scooted into the slips, and a wonderful save by Oblak. I've got to say, he's got a good palm on that and kept it out the far corner.
But it is another corner to Celtic. Palmer to swing it in deep to the far post. Kyogo was the target, but Atleti get it clear. Recycled by Celtic back to halfway, and Alistair Johnson, who has no option really but to go back to his keeper, Joe Hart. Joe Hart, right-footed, floated pass out to the near touchline, headed in field well by Lewis Palmer, but nobody there in a dark Celtic shirt to pick it up. That's the problem you have when you're a man light out there. Getting those knockdowns won't always find the target. Crawley 2, Aston Villa 1 in the Football League trophy. Kobe Moore gets one back for Aston Villa, and Lincoln 2, Notts County 0 in the same competition. And Doncaster Rovers 2, Burton Albion 0. Kyle Hurst for Donny in the trophy. There are games in League One as well tonight. Shrewsbury, Bolton, Wigan, Peterborough and Reading, Bristol Rovers. Wigan are ahead against Peterborough. And Colchester 0, Swindon 1. But it's 1-0 here to Atleti with 28 minutes gone, Stuart Pearce.
Just looking at that line-up now, the front two, Palmer's come across from where he was operating on the left-hand side of that attacking three. He's come across as a sort of right central, and they're sort of operating as a pair, trying to get across the field as best they can to shut down.
Griezmann for Atletico, up to the left-hand corner of the box. He'll get it back as it comes out, works it into Koke, who plays it into the feet of Correa. Lovely quick feet. Drops on the left-hand corner of the box for Riquelme. Checks onto his right. Correa gives it back to him. Still the left-hand corner of the area. Makes room for a shot. It's blocked by the backside of Callum McGregor. Now Griezmann picks it up. Left-hand corner of the area. Floats it all the way over to the far side. And a driven shot from Molina. He's only just wide of the post. Caught it sweetly on the volley, right-footed. Nahuel Molina. But Joe Hart, I think, had it covered, even though he hit it with some venom. Goal kick, 1-0 Athletic.
Yeah, super ball by Griezmann. Picked out Molina just inside the box, and it's sweet as you like, but he's just sliced it slightly to push it past the post.
Given away by Kyogo, but Carter Vickers tidies up for Celtic at the back. Johnston looks up, looks for the run of Palmer. Looks like he's found him with the ball down the inside right channel, but then Palmer slips as he tried to turn inside Hermoso, and the Celtic counter-attack comes to a halt. 1-0 Athletic.
Yeah, really unfortunate that. Palmer made a wonderful run, just it darted into the channel, got first contact, but just lost his footing.
You're listening to Talksport in the Champions League. Celtic a man down and a goal down, and a lovely run through midfield. Finds Griezmann, tucks it in field to Barrios. Now it's with Correa, out to Molina on the right wing. Early cross, there's plenty back for Celtic, and it's hooked away by Scales, but Barrios will tidy up once again. Riquelme looks a box of tricks, doesn't he, in the Atleti midfield?
Yeah, he does, and they're enjoying their football now. You know, they've got a number superiority.
He's calling for it again. He finds Griezmann inside the area, Riquelme, but Celtic get a footing, get it half clear. But almost as soon as they get possession, Celtic, they give it away. Koke, lovely ball out to Molina, right-hand corner of the box, being assisted by Barrios. Celtic trying to prevent the corner, and Greg Taylor can't prevent the corner, just couldn't get there in time. So a corner kick to Atletico Madrid. 31 minutes gone. Shrewsbury 0, Bolton 0. There's a half-time score in League One. Oxford United 3-0 upon Chelsea's youngsters in the Football League Trophy. Josh Murphy. A lot of those games kicked off at 7 o'clock tonight in the Trophy. And Griezmann's going to take this latest corner for Athletic. Plenty of jostling for position inside the packed 6-yard box. In it comes from Griezmann, headed onto the roof of the net by Correa, who got up at the near post. But it will be a Celtic goal kick. 13 minutes to half-time. Athletic 1-0 up.
Yeah, at this moment in time, Celtic are suffering a little bit. They need to steady the ship, and more importantly, they need to make sure they do not concede another goal before half-time, when Brendan might be able to tinker with the formation. Fariashi looks as though he's not overly enjoying the defensive role that he's got for the team at the moment.
Hermoso for Athletic inside his own half, gives it back to Jimenez, 10 yards in front of his own 18-yard line. And he gets it back from Witsel, looks for Riquelme, and that's a poor touch from the left wing back, just drifts out of play for a throw-in to Celtic. Talksport breakfast back tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. Anna Brazil could be fun to listen to if this persists. And so will Ali McCoist, in fairness, because he'll get stuck into Alan from 6 a.m. in the morning. And then White and Jordan with Danny Murphy joining Jim and Simon from 10 a.m. here on Talksport. Don't forget our live commentary for you tomorrow night from the Champions League, from the Danish capital Copenhagen against Manchester United. And tomorrow night, as with tonight, you can then react to all the action with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy in the Sports Bar. That comes up at 10 o'clock tonight. Jason very much enjoyed gate crashing the show early on last night after Chelsea's win against Tottenham. You heard live on Talksport. Celtic have won a free kick just inside their own half. Little nibble on the ankles of Matt O'Reilly from Hermoso. Colchester 0, Swindon 1 is now a half-time score in the League 2 game this evening. And McGregor takes the free kick short just to his left for Liam Scales, just shy of the halfway line, just lobs it down the inside left channel. Chested down well by Lewis Palmer, but surrounded by red and white striped shirts, and he's given the ball away for a throw. They just need that little chunk of possession, otherwise they're just going to keep backpedaling. Celtic. Kyogo went to ground, he was caught by Barrios, and that presents Celtic with a free kick, good 20 yards or so inside the Atleti half of the field. 1-0 to the Spanish side. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, as I say, they're in full control at the moment, Atletico, and enjoying the football at the moment from a game that they'll look at and probably went into thinking this is a must-win game for us tonight. Looks as though their evening's got a lot easier.
Oh, Matt O'Reilly at the edge of the area. The ball just dropped for him, but he couldn't control it. And Witsel trying to bring the ball away down the right-back area. It was caught by Liam Scales. Free kick to the home side. 10 minutes to the break. Atleti 1, Celtic 0. Celtic, once again, have suffered a red card in the Champions League. They had 2 at Feyenoord, and they've had 1 tonight. Dyson Maeda, originally booked for a challenge on Hermoso, upgraded by the Slovakian referee to a red card following a pitch-side review.
I don't know about you, but there seems to be a lot of red cards in the game at the moment, at all levels of the game. You know, you get away with nothing, certainly when VAR has got its eyes on the pitch.
Well, you could have taken your pick about red cards last night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I don't think I've ever seen a game like that before, with so many talking points. It was amazing.
Yeah, Ali and Andy Townsend very entertaining on breakfast this morning, picking the bones out of all of that. And Spurs will go to Wolves on Saturday. That starts our game day coverage on Talksport. You're going to be there at Molineux, aren't you, Stuart?
I certainly am. Really looking forward to that one. I think it could be a super game.
Our coverage, as always, on game day on Saturday starts at 11 a.m. on Talksport. That game at Molineux kicks off at 12:30. And it's a bit of a North London double because I'll be at the Emirates Stadium with Perry Groves for the 3 o'clock game on Saturday over on Talksport 2. Arsenal entertaining Burnley. Atletico Madrid 1-0 up here, and they have possession just inside the Celtic half with Griezmann hugging this near touch line. Riquelme works it back into his own half for Jimenez. Now Witsel strokes it out to Molina on the right-hand touchline. Oh, lovely touch from Correa. Sprints away from his man and drives toward the area. Just runs into Scales, but he managed to get the ball back. Still has it. Right-hand corner of the box. Support from Molina. Looks for a deep cross, looking for Riquelme at the far post. But the cross is overhit and goes out on the full for a Celtic goal kick. 8 minutes to half-time. Atletico Madrid 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, when Atletico got the ball in midfield, all of a sudden they'll see a bit of daylight beyond the Celtic player. Go past someone and everything clicks up a gear and the pace of their attack clicks up.
Celtic give the ball away again, and Morata tries to lay the ball off to Correa, right-hand corner of the area. Morata spun away and gone back into the box. Witsel now has it. Out to the right-hand side. And Molina. Good ball in field for Koke, who was in the Atleti side the last time these two teams met quite some time ago in 2011 in the Europa League. Griezmann across the face of goal, touched away by Hart. McGregor finds Greg Taylor, and between them they smuggle the ball clear, but the ball just stops still on the 6-yard line. You were just waiting for a red and white shirt to come thump it into an empty net.
Yeah, it did. I've got to say, McGregor magnificently composed there. The ball's dropped to him. He's got his back to play, 7 yards out from his own goal, and he just set it off to his teammate.
Witsel for Atleti. A goal to the good, and they have a man advantage. Here is Hermoso. Looking early for Riquelme down the left-hand side, approaching the Celtic penalty area. A couple of step-overs. He looks to take on O'Reilly. Plays the ball into the box, but the Celtic captain, McGregor, is there once again. Working really hard to retain possession, keep it in play. And he's helped out by Alistair Johnson, who's won a throw-in down this near side. And as you say, Stuart Pearce, I guess all Brendan Rodgers can hope at this point is that the score as it stands now is what it is when they go in at the break, and he's got something to work with.
That's absolute key. I think if they go in 2-0 down, the game is lost.
Well, Griezmann was looking for Morata down the left-hand side of the area, but Morata was caught on his heels and the ball trickled behind for a goal kick.
As I say, you go in 2-0 down, that's it. But 1-0, you've always got half a chance.
Hart's playing the ball just to the edge of his own area for O'Reilly, but there's a high press from Atletico. So Celtic try and bring the ball clear. Good flick and fill from Lewis Palmer, who incidentally was booked earlier for a bit of back chat to the referee. So he's got to be careful. Meantime, Griezmann just tucks the ball in field just to frustrate Paulo Bernardo. And then a crossfield ball from Atleti, left to right, picks out Nahuel Molina. Witsel. Ball turned round the corner for Correa. Down the right-hand side of the box, Molina pulls it back to the edge of the area. Riquelme tees up Barrios. Shot is deflected. Might come from Morata. It's gone in. It's gone over the line. But then the flag goes up for offside. And the goal will not stand. Joe Hart couldn't prevent the ball from crossing the line. But Morata was in an offside position when Barrios took the strike from the edge of the area. And even though the ball just trickled over the line, offside flag goes up to spare Celtic's plushes. 1-0 it stays.
Yeah, they've done well there, actually, Celtic. They cleared the 6-yard box really quickly and enabled the offside on Morata.
Carter Vickers volleys the ball downfield for Celtic. 5 to the break. 1-0 Atleti. Griezmann with a really strong header from the halfway line to get it back to one of his centre-halves. Proper neck muscles in action there.
Quite an incredible one. He's just dived and craned his neck round and put real power in it. You know, I'm not sure he could have got more power with his feet, to be honest. And this left-hand side, Riquelme and Griezmann, has been very, very effective, certainly the longer the game goes on.
Now, Axel Witsel on the halfway line. Finds Molina out on the far right-hand side. Barrios is ahead of him down the touchline, but it goes infield to Koke. Now Hermoso looks for Riquelme, level with the Celtic box left-hand side. Lovely ball to the far post, but that's well claimed by Joe Hart. Came across to make sure he was well in front of Alvaro Morata, and it's still 1-0 to Atleti. Out on the left-hand side, Matt O'Reilly shows good composure. Back in field it goes to McGregor, and now Scales. Square ball to his centre-half partner, Carter Vickers. And now Alistair Johnson plays the ball up over halfway to this near side, the right, and Lewis Palmer. McGregor again, inside the centre circle. Options left and right. To his immediate left is Liam Scales, but nobody showing for him down the line at the moment, Scales, although Taylor goes to fill that position now. But Celtic have gone back into their own half anyway. And Carter Vickers and Johnston almost had his pocket picked by Griezmann there, but then there's a bit of a nudge on Riquelme, who's buried his face in the turf claiming he's hurt. Lewis Palmer, the man at the centre of it, remember he's on a yellow card for that bit of dissent a little earlier.
Yeah, you're almost, your heart's in your mouth on occasion, certainly if you've had one yellow already. It's just a flailing hand that's caught an eye, I think, you know, but nothing in it at all. And the difference, Celtic have had some really good phases of play where they kept the ball really well, but they've not affected an effort at goal in any way, shape or form, where Atletico, when they go through the thirds and really go after you, they end up on goal, creating a good opportunity.
Here is Griezmann, 25 yards out, rolls in Riquelme just inside the area left-hand side. Further down for Correa, tried to toe poke it across the face of goal, and eventually Joe Hart just pounces on the loose ball inside the 6-yard box, and it stays 1-0 to Atleti. Reading lead Bristol Rovers in League One by a goal to nil. Reading starting the night bottom of the table, no league win in 7 for Ruben Selles Royals, but Sam Smith has given them the lead at the Select Car Leasing. Ball over the top will not find a Celtic player. It's just a hit and hope really from the back line. And Celtic hadn't committed too many forward. Into the last minute of normal time on Talksport at the end of this first half, with Atletico Madrid 1 goal to the good. And here's the goal scorer, Antoine Griezmann, out to the left hand side, and Riquelme, he tries to sprint past Johnston to get to the byline, just holds the ball up for a moment. Johnston back in position, but it's back with Griezmann, level with the area, plays the ball in field to Koke. Heavy touch from him, still managed to work it back to Hermoso and keep possession for the hosts. Fleetwood 4-0 up on Leicester City's academy in the Football League trophy, and Cambridge 3-1 up on Spurs. Out to the left-hand side, and Atleti come again with Rodrigo Riquelme, lays it off to Griezmann. Griezmann plays the ball from left to right, fully 40-yard ball onto the instep of Molina. Level with the edge of the area. Koke will give it back to Molina. Celtic trying to keep their shape at the back, trying to keep Atleti out as we go into 3 minutes of additional time at the end of this first period. Out it goes to the lively Riquelme once more. He'll leave it for Hermoso, and back it goes to halfway. And Atleti exhibiting a bit of patience at the moment. Now they quicken it up. Griezmann 20 yards out, up to the edge of the area, gives it to his right for Correa. Griezmann gets it back, tries to drive, and it's blocked behind by Scales for another Atleti corner. 1-0.
Yeah, as you say, when they do quicken it up, they really look effective and a dangerous team. Celtic have done really well to get decent blocks on crosses when they have got beyond the Celtic back line. When they pull crosses across the face of goal, there's always been a Celtic man or a goalkeeper's glove to just air it away from danger.
Great run from Hermoso into the box. It almost made its way through to Jimenez as Griezmann swung the corner in. Goes back to Griezmann, and then it's worked back to Koke. He'll give it out to the right-hand side. There's at least 5 Atletico players waiting for a cross. Griezmann at the near post, turned behind by Joe Hart for another corner to Atleti as a goal goes in at the Etihad. Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Double the lead, Manchester City 2, Young Boys 0, and it's Phil Foden, assisted by Jack Grealish. Great pass from the left-hand side. He whipped the ball across to Phil Foden, who beat his man, got into the 18-yard area. Couple of touches later, has a look at the goalkeeper and just slots the ball low into the bottom corner. It's all the home side deserve. They've been absolutely fantastic in this first 45 minutes. Manchester City 2, Young Boys 0.
Atleti with the corner at the end of this first half. And they send it into the near post looking for Witsel, but Callum McGregor volleys it clear. 1-0 to the Spanish side. Celtic down to 10 men. Griezmann, ball into the box. Jimenez across the face of goal, and there's 2-0. And Alvaro Morata on the goal-scoring trail again for Atletico Madrid. But the cushion header down from Jimenez to find him was so unselfish. Crossfield ball into the box, nodded down by the centre-half. Griezmann takes his share of the credit, and it was a simple finish right in front of goal. And what Brendan Rodgers wanted least of all, a second Atleti goal right on half-time, has happened. Atletico 2, Celtic 0.
Celtic have hung on valiantly since the sending off, and it's that man Griezmann, a whipped ball. Jimenez just guided it down to his teammate for the simplest of touches, probably about 2 foot out. He couldn't miss from there. A great guided header that almost took Joe Hart out the equation. And Morata at full stretch, got his studs on it to nudge it over the line.
Another terrific goal for Alvaro Morata. He's already got 7 in the league this season and 4 in 4 Champions League matches. And so the 2 main men for Diego Simeone's Atleti are making the difference. We've played the minimum 3 minutes that were added on at the end of this first half. It's now up to the Slovakian referee as to how much more to add. It's half-time at the Etihad. We'll be there shortly on Talksport with Manchester City 2 goals up, as you just heard from Mickey. But the ball is back with Atleti's backline and Jimenez, who gets the assist for that Morata second. Griezmann looks up over halfway into the feet of Morata, spins away from Paulo Bernardo, then Barrios works it out to the right hand side of Molina. Again, plenty forward in red and white, waiting for a cross into the box. Lovely drop of the shoulder, chips into the near post, and eventually Correa gets a shot that deflects against him. Hart tips it over the bar, and that is the end of a first half where what could go wrong did go wrong for Celtic. Once again, they started brightly, as they have in all their European fixtures this season, but then Daisen Maeda got a red card upgraded. This was after Antoine Griezmann had given Atleti a 5th-minute lead with a lovely low drive past Joe Hart, slight deflection on its way. Then Maeda went in strongly on the centre-half, Hermoso. It was a yellow card originally, upgraded to a red against the Japanese international after a VAR review. Celtic clung on, hoping to keep it to 1 at half-time. But Griezmann, Jimenez and the goal-scorer Alvaro Morata had other ideas right on the whistle. And so Celtic's task is nigh on impossible. Half-time in the Wanda Metropolitano. Atletico Madrid 2, Celtic 0.
Wow, but for a couple of Joe Hart saves, it could be even worse for Celtic. First of all, Stuart Pearce, I want to talk to you about that red card for Daisen Maeda. I just think, and looking around social media, the response to it, it seems a little bit harsh. I mean, there's as much of a foot up from the Atletico Madrid player as there is from Maeda. It just, yellow seemed right, but once he goes to the screen, you know what's going to happen. Does it feel a bit harsh to you, that red?
I'm not sure. If I was a referee's assessor, I've got to say, I would say I think red was about right. I can understand why people think, well, maybe it's a half of one and half a dozen of the other. I'm not sure. I think a red, it was dangerous. And the one thing the referee will see when he goes to the screen, the stopped action of studs on shin, you know, and that guides a lot of things rather than most other things. I think it was a fair red. It weren't a very unfair red, put it that way.
Can we just take a moment to have a look at Antoine Griezmann and his performance going forwards, defending? It's like a one-man team. He's sensational in that first 45 for Atletico Madrid.
You're absolutely right. When Celtic were on 11 men, he caught my eye by tracking back, a couple of slide tackles, a couple of tackles. You think, well, weren't expecting that from you tonight, fella. Then all of a sudden, he's just been brilliant. Him and Riquelme down the left-hand side, he's been by far the best player on the pitch. There's no doubt about that. And he's leading his team in everything that's good about their play. He's part of it.
Yeah, it's a joy to witness what Antoine Griezmann is doing tonight. Not so for Celtic fans, obviously. And Morata weighs it, a beautifully worked goal. He's finished it off. 4-4 for him. He's been praised in the Spanish press, almost like a different player to the one that was there before. And this season he's just producing the goods. That second goal has pretty much killed off Celtic's Champions League hopes.
Yeah, they've done pretty well after the sending off. They steadied the ship. There was a few skirmishes in and around their goal area, but they dealt with that and got blocked. Now, all of a sudden, you think, well, just get in the dressing room at 1-0. Brendan might make the odd change here, there and everywhere, and you're still in the game. But the second goal, it was a real body blow for Celtic.
Stuart, we'll let you take a breath. Second half to come, but it's not looking good for Celtic. Down to 10 men. Dyson made a sent-off. Controversially, maybe Stuart thought it was a red. I thought it was a little bit harsh. Wonder what you thought. Atletico Madrid with 2 goals. Griezmann, man of the match so far with the first. Alvaro Morata with the second. Also in Group E, it's Lazio 1. Feyenoord 0. Ciro Immobile with the goal just before half-time. City in control and on their way through to the round of 16 here at the Etihad. Mickey Gray.
Yeah, where it is at Manchester City 2, Young Boys 0. Both sides started brightly, but then it was City who took over on 5 minutes and should have taken the lead. Jack Grealish, good play down the left-hand side to play Enrico Lewis, who slotted the ball towards the goal. And albeit for Loris Benito, the centre-half of Young Boys, cleared it off the line, City would have took the lead. And then 17 minutes, a free kick from Kyle Walker, who I have to say wasn't supposed to start this game. It was supposed to be Akanji, but was took away from the game with illness before kick-off. So Kyle Walker took the free kick on 17 minutes. It was a super save from Rasiopi down to his left-hand side, and the follow-up from Phil Foden with his right foot, again, brilliantly saved by the goalkeeper. But on 22 minutes, a penalty was awarded. Great play from Mateus Nunes. A Cruyff in the 18-yard area, fell by Lopa just inside the 18-yard box, and Erling Haaland on 23 minutes with his left foot picked the ball up, slotted the ball easily into the back of the net for his third Champions League goal of the season to give City the lead. And then just on the stroke of half-time, again, a great play from Jack Grealish down the left-hand side, a wonderful crossfield pass to Phil Foden, who broke into the 18-yard box, worked the ball onto his left foot and just slotted the ball low into the bottom corner. It's all that City deserved, I have to say, in that first half. I've been unimpressed with Young Boys. I think they're very poor, and I think City are only going to add to this lead in the second half. I hope you do agree with me, I have to say. But it's Manchester City 2, Young Boys 0.
Can't disagree. Listen, Mickey, no effort, not even off target from Young Boys. They've not really bothered to try and get in the City half. What I will say is their fans are magnificent, truly magnificent. 2 tiers of them in a section away to our right. For half of the first half, the bottom tier were all dressed in black, the top tier dressed in yellow, and they were so coordinated and choreographed, and the singing was fantastic. They couldn't ask for better support. And then halfway through the first half, the yellow top ones in the top tier ripped off their T-shirts.
Yeah, it was always going to happen, wasn't it? I think they've come to this stadium, Adrian, haven't they, to enjoy themselves. And they are enjoying themselves. I think they knew it was going to be a tough task to get anything against this Manchester City team, who've just been brilliant. One thing I picked up on, Adrian, and I've never seen this before, and I know you don't really like talking about XGs and things.
No, I do.
XG 0 Young Boys. I've never seen that before, I have to say. Normally it's 0.1 or something. 0. They've not had one shot on target. And I think you'd understand why. I mean, Pep Guardiola's made 6 changes today, but the players who've come in, even Kyle Walker coming in, 7 in fact, Rico Lewis, Kyle Walker and Jack Grealish, bit of pressure on him as well when you think about what's happening with Jeremy Doku in the last couple of games. They've been outstanding.
I'm surprised it's as high as 0, the XG. Haaland, 38 goals in 34 Champions League games. He's the only goal scorer in the top 50 of all-time Champions League goal scorers who has got more goals than games. That's how good he is. But that second goal, Phil Foden, the touch, the finish, absolutely magnificent. It's going well for City. They're going through. Not going well for Celtic. They're going out of the Champions League as things stand. So, well, they'll almost be out of the Champions League. It is not looking good for them. Second half to come. They're 2 down away to Atletico Madrid. It's coming up on Talksport.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Kyle.
And I'm Nicola Thorpe.
And we are here to tell you about Talk Today.
It's our brand new breakfast show from Talk TV.
We serve hard-hitting news and views, and we promise to cover all the stories that really matter to you.
With proper debate, real passion and insight.
Wake up to Talk Today.
Every weekday from 6 a.m. on Talk TV. Freeview 237, Sky 522 and Virgin 606.
Hi everyone, I am Millie Bobby Brown, actor, producer, and now author. My debut novel, 19 Steps, is set in wartime London and is a moving story of longing, loss, and secrets, and how far we will go to fight for love. It's inspired by true events and my own family history. 19 Steps is out now in hardback, ebook, and audiobook.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Introducing the new Philly cheese stack at McDonald's with 2 beef patties.
Oh, yeah.
Crispy and grilled onions.
So crispy.
Cheddar cheese.
Oh, cheese.
All topped with a melted cheddar cheese sauce.
Obsessed.
The Philly cheese stack. One for the cheese lovers. Available until the 21st of November. Served after 11 a.m. Participating restaurants only. Subject to availability.
Talksport Bet. If you want to flutter, punters know it's the only place to go. Football, GGs, cricket, golf and Grand Prix are live online casino. Just tap to find it on the app. Talksport Bet, the broadcast bonus bookie, keeping you on track with all the sporting stats. Steeple chases, even title races, looking after sports fans. You know, cause Talksport Bet is the app that does all that. It's the only place to go.
18+ begambleaware.org.
Our next tablet. Well, it needs a big screen for all my true crime shows.
And I need to browse recipes so I can knock Susan off her perch at the next office bake-off and
I want to draw dinosaurs!
The new Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus. With a 12.4-inch screen and Creative S Pen, it's for everyone. Buy now to claim 6 months of Disney Plus on us. RRP $7.99 per month after 6 months. Offer ends 31st of March. Redeem by 1st of May. Cancel any time. 18+. T's and C's apply.
Come in.
Boss, news from Nationwide.
What are they doing now?
They've just confirmed they're keeping branches open.
Ha ha! What nonsense! Who needs a branch? I don't.
Yes, but...
What I need is happy shareholders. I don't care about happy customers.
Don't worry. Pretty sure Nationwide's customers won't be coming to us.
Unlike the big banks, we're not closing our branches. Nationwide, a good way to bank. To view our branch promise, search nationwide.co.uk/our promise.
Here's football legend Jamie Redknapp for new hands-free Skechers slip-ins footwear.
Imagine playing football against no defence or goalkeeper. How easy would that be? That's what it's like putting on my new hands-free Skechers slip-ins. There's nothing stopping my foot from just going in. I just step in and I'm done, with no bending down to touch my shoes. So how do Skechers slip-ins work? It's like they have an invisible built-in shoehorn, so my foot slides into place. Then the Heel Pillow technology keeps my foot comfy and secure.
Find Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store or skechers.co.uk.
A new energy-efficient boiler from British Gas can save you up to 22% on gas bills. That's a 22% saving on warm nights in. Cozy cats. Oof. And shower discos. Save money with the new energy-efficient boiler from British Gas. And you can even spread the cost with up to 4 years interest-free credit. Search British Gas, new boiler. Credit subject to status. Credit broker not a lender. Using panel of lenders for savings, see website.
Ever tried to place a bet and found it doesn't really reflect you? It doesn't allow you to flex your savvy knowledge of the sport? Then you need Bet Builder from Virgin Bet.
And it's another booking for the away team.
Choose your favourite markets like corners, cards, or even hitting the crossbar, and personalise your bet until you look at it and think, nailed it. Beautiful, isn't it? You can also pick from pre-made bet builders if you like. Make it your own with Bet Builder from Virgin Bet. T's and C's apply. 18+. Bet responsibly. begambleaware.org.
Love barbecue sauce. Love crispy chicken breast fillet and smoky barbecue sauce. Love cheddar cheese with barbecue sauce. Love red onion oozing in barbecue sauce. Oh, Everything's better with barbecue sauce. Introducing the new McCrispy Barbecue Smokehouse. Available until the 21st of barbecue sauce. Until the 21st of November. Served after 11 a.m. Subject to availability.
It's the reason Marconi invented radio and God gave you ears.
And he scored. It's a brilliant goal.
The Champions League live on Talksport.
So Champions League half-times, Group E, Atletico Madrid 2, Celtic 0, second half to come live on TalkSport. Lazio 1, Feyenoord 0. Group F, it finished earlier on TalkSport 2, Dortmund 2, Newcastle 0. The other game in the group is half-time, Milan 1, PSG 1. Group G, City are 2 up here at the Etihad against Young Boys, Haaland and Foden. And the other game, Red Star Belgrade 0, Leipzig 1, Xavi Simons again. Group H, Porto 1, Royal Antwerp 0. And earlier it finished Shakhtar Donetsk 1, Barcelona 0. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Celtic to even get a draw out of this game is now 90-1. Celtic to at least get the next goal is 11-2. Meanwhile, on TalkSport 2 in the Championship, it's Rotherham 1, Ipswich 1. Home side 19-4 to win. Ipswich 23-20 on. The draw is 17-10. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Well, Man United are in Copenhagen ahead of their Champions League match against the Danish champions, live on TalkSport tomorrow night. And ahead of the game, Erik ten Hag's faced questions about a banner from his own team's fans last Saturday, shown at Craven Cottage in the 1-0 win at Fulham. The banner read, "Play like you mean it," and the Red Devils manager was asked whether that was fair on his squads.
The players make their efforts, but it can always be more. So we expect the highest standards at Manchester United. When you're a player, when you're a staff, when you're a manager at Manchester United, the fans expect the highest standards, and they expect that you at least win every game. So we, from ourselves, have very high expectations. But also, when you're not playing right and in a well performance, you still have to win.
Erik ten Hag with his reaction to the "Play Like You Mean It" banner. He's also said he doesn't expect Casemiro or Lisandro Martinez to be available for United again before Christmas. Both have had injuries. He reckons that they won't be back before Christmas. Marcus Rashford should be back for tomorrow night's game, though. Copenhagen against Manchester United is live on TalkSport tomorrow night. I'll be at Arsenal versus Sevilla. That's from 7 o'clock on TalkSport. Half-times elsewhere, as I said, Rotherham 1, Ipswich 1 in the Championship. In League 1, Shrewsbury 0, Bolton 0. These are into the second halves. Wigan 1, Peterborough 1. Kwame Poku's just equalised for the Posh. Reading 1, Bristol Rovers 0 will be enough to take Reading off the bottom of the table. League 2, Colchester 1, Swindon 1. Liam Kinsella's own goal, the equaliser for Colchester. And in the EFL Trophy results, Barrow beat Liverpool 2-1. Wimbledon 2, Palace 0. Cambridge 4, Spurs 1. Gillingham 0, Fulham 1. Orient 1, Portsmouth 2. Oxford 5, Chelsea 0, 2 for Josh Murphy, the twin brother of Jacob Murphy of Newcastle. And results elsewhere as well. Fleetwood 4, Leicester 0, Mansfield 0, Everton 1. Those in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. And in Scotland, St Johnstone leading Motherwell by 2 goals to 0. We're underway in the second half here at the Etihad. Manchester City are in control, 2-0 up, as the Young Boys fans have the pyrotechnics going in the away end. It looks spectacular. It looks very Christmassy here at the Etihad. Feeling not so good for the Celtic fans in Madrid. They trail 2-0 second half on TalkSport with the former England captain Stuart Pearce alongside the pick of the bunch, Ian Danta.
Yeah, thanks Adrian. Still waiting for the players to fully emerge and get themselves ready for the start of the second half here. Celtic just 1 win in 9 European away fixtures and 2 wins in 29 in the Champions League itself overall up until tonight. It does look very much like it's going to be just 2 wins in 30. Players are now out at the Wanda Metropolitano. So as it stands, with Lazio leading in their game against Feyenoord, Atletico will top the group on 8, Lazio on 7 points, Feyenoord on 6, Celtic on 1 with 2 games to go. So notionally Celtic could still catch Feyenoord and overtake them on points to finish in 3rd, but qualification for the round of 16 of the Champions League would be nigh on impossible. So we're back underway on Talksport, with Atletico Madrid in their traditional red and white stripes with the red socks and the blue shorts. Celtic in their change strip of all dark shirt, shorts and socks. And the ball's worked back to Jan Oblak. Looks like Celtic have made a change at the break. I'll confirm that in just a minute. But certainly there's a change for Atletico Madrid. Marcos Llorente has come on for Pablo Barrios, and Llorente, who played quite well at Celtic Park on match day 3, he's on, and it looks like the South Korean is on for Celtic, but I'm just looking to see who he's replaced.
I think it's Palmer. I'm not seeing Palmer at present.
Well, we'll run you through the lineups in just a few moments here on Talksport, but it is 2-0, remember, to Atleti on half-time. And Celtic in the second half, Hart in goal, Johnston, Carter, Vickers, Scales and Taylor, Bernardo, McGregor, O'Reilly, Kyogo and O now. And as for Atleti, Oblak in goal, Jimenez, Witsel, Hermoso, then Molina, Griezmann, Koke, Llorente and Riquelme, Correa and Morata up front. And here is Correa inside the area, trying to bend one towards goal with the outside of his right foot, but it's a comfortable claim by Joe Hart right in front of his goal line. 2-0, Atleti lead in the early stages of the second half. Hart rolls the ball out. In fact, another change has been made by Brendan Rodgers. I noticed that Odin Thiago Holm, the Norwegian who was sent off late on in Rotterdam against Feyenoord, has come on for Matt O'Reilly. Now, I'm sure they'll be hoping, Celtic fans, that that's nothing serious for Matt O'Reilly, and that's just Brendan Rodgers protecting him for more domestic matters, Stuart Pearce. They could ill afford to do with that Matt O'Reilly for any period of time.
No, they couldn't, but maybe, I don't know whether there's a consideration that the game is beyond them now, you know.
Maybe so. But Lewis Palmer has indeed gone off. He was booked in the first half and was walking a bit of a tightrope, so the Korean Jung-Gyu Oh is on to replace him. And Odin Thiago Holm is just 20 years of age, on for O'Reilly, number 15. But here's Callum McGregor, the Celtic captain, just over the halfway line. Holm getting his first touch, works it back to the halfway line. Scales and Carter Vickers exchanging passes, and now Morata comes out to close down the space. So Holm will now pick it out to Alistair Johnson on the far right hand side for Celtic. Tries to play a 1-2 with McGregor, doesn't quite come off, but Celtic have kept possession. Back it goes to halfway, and Carter Vickers. McGregor gets his header. O was making a run down the inside right channel. It was quite intelligent, wasn't spotted though. Instead it's gone back to Liam Scales in the centre circle. Quite patient from Celtic at this point. And then it goes into the feet of O, who's taken Jimenez with him. Got a little push in the back, did he? He did. Celtic have a free kick in the early stages of this second half. 2-0 they trail.
I think some of Celtic's play, Dance, is quite neat, but it's been in the sort of mid-band of the pitch, and it's not been hurtful to the opposition in any way, shape or form.
So set pieces will be crucial. There's a goal at the Etihad there in a moment. Let's see what this free kick can conjure up. Paolo Bernardo sends it in. It's headed out by Koke. So let's go to the Etihad. Talksport's Mickey Gray.
It's Manchester City 3, Young Boys 0, and they're just they're taking the mickey now. It's brilliant play, but it falls to Erling Haaland, who's already scored from the penalty spot. He picks the ball up in the edge of the 18-yard box. Most of his goals come from inside the box. This one, a couple of little touches with his left foot, wraps his left foot around, reverses it into the top corner. It's a brilliant strike. What a goal. There's anything this guy can't do. Manchester City 3, Young Boys 0.
I bet he can't pull a fruit tassel in his mouth without chewing it. Other sweets are available. So 3-0 to Manchester City. Bolton have just taken the lead at Shrewsbury in League One. Paris make homer for the Trotters. Shrewsbury 0, Bolton 1. Bolton start the night in third after 4 straight wins, and Colchester are in front against Swindon. That's 20th against 10th in League 2. Colchester looking for 3 league wins in a row, and Samson Tavida has got the second goal for the Utes. And Milan 2-1 up against Paris Saint-Germain. Olivier Giroud for the Milanese at San Siro. That is in Newcastle's group. Newcastle lost earlier today by 2-0 against Borussia Dortmund. That was live on Talksport 2. Right now on Talksport 2, it is the championship clash between Rotherham and Ipswich, 1-1 at half-time between those two. And I gather there's been a red card at the Etihad Stadium. Is that right, Mickey Gray?
From bad to worse, Dance, I have to say. Their young boys now down to 10 men. And it's Sandro Lopo, was really fortunate, actually, in the first half not to get 2 yellow cards. He was the one who gave the free kick away on the edge of the 18-yard box. But he's just made a foul on Nathan Ake, just around about the centre circle. Really bad foul. The referee just went straight to his pocket, realised he was on a yellow card. Given that second yellow card, he's walked straight down the tunnel, down to 10 men. Man City 3, Young Boys 0.
2 lemons make a strawberry, as they say. And we had a lemon turned into a strawberry with a VAR review here to get rid of Daisen Maeda in the first half. 2-0 to Atletico Madrid. We played 6 minutes of the second half, but here comes Celtic as O flicks the ball on for Kyogo, but the offside flag goes up against Kyogo Furuhashi, trying to combine with O, who's a much more physical presence, should win his fair share of headers, Stuart Pearce.
He should, and he certainly did on that occasion, and that was a very, very tight offside call, I've got to say. Tough one for Celtic.
They've got the semi-automated offside system in the Champions League, which works out offsides a darn sight quicker than whatever they're using at Stockley Park, using protractors and pencils and
slide rule.
Yeah. Wrexham 2, Port Vale 1 in the trophy. James McLean scores for Wrexham at the racecourse. And West Ham's kids are 4-0 up at Cheltenham. Callum Marshall getting the 4th at the Completely Suzuki. There's also been a red card for Jurgen Ekkelenkamp of Royal Antwerp in their game at Porto. Still 0-0 in that game. Here's Correa trying a drive from the right-hand corner of the 6-yard box as Atleti suddenly came forward, and a super save from Joe Hart to tip it over for a corner to Atletico Madrid. 10 gone in the second half, 2-0.
Yeah, it was that man Griezmann causing a little bit of a trouble there, and a brilliant shot eventually. Joe Hart, 2 solid hands to it, drove it over the bar.
Yeah, very strong hands on that because it was travelling from Angel Correa. Griezmann with the corner then for Atleti. Be a left-footed in-swinger, but the referee from Slovakia wants a word with 1 or 2 around the 6-yard line. Morata and Witsel are in there. It's a real clutch of players. It's like they're halfway through the Okie-Kokie. They've gone in, but they're not gone out again. Griezmann will eventually take the corner kick. It's deep to the far post. Witsel tries the acrobatic overhead kick. Jimenez off the bar. Morata can't follow it up. And if Celtic somehow smuggle the ball clear, so close twice for Atleti to go 3-0 up. They've won it back again. Griezmann plays a 1-2 into the area. Right-hand side, tries to pull it back, but can't wrap his foot round it enough. And it's out of play for a Celtic goal kick. Witsel tried the acrobatic, and then Jimenez had a looping header that came off the underside of the crossbar with Hart beaten, but Celtic somehow managed to get it clear. 2-0.
Yeah, it was, as I say, just literally the next touch there by Morata, just looped over a flying Joe Hart, but it's just hit the underside of the bar, bounced near enough on the line and out again.
That cross from Griezmann took a nick off a Celtic boot, so it's another Athletic corner, 2-0 up. And it comes from the right-hand side to the near post. Kyogo heads the ball out for Celtic, but Griezmann, the man on the scene, to tidy up. Oh, lovely little touch to take it away from Holm. He's pulling out all the tricks tonight, Griezmann.
He's literally got his own football at the moment, you know, he's incredible.
There was a game in the World Cup when France lost on match day 3 of the group stages. I'm trying to think who they were playing, that they made a number of changes, and Griezmann came on when they were trying to rescue the game. And he seemed to be the only one that was trying a leg out there. France had already qualified for the knockout stages, but he just doesn't know anything other than performing at full pelt, Antoine Griezmann.
No, and
must be a manager's dream.
Well, as we've seen tonight, doing all the things, the dirty things even, you know, winning challenges, running back, slide tackles, let alone all the stuff that he's done going forward for his team.
And his left foot's almost as good as yours.
Come on, let's not stretch the truth a little bit.
Back to halfway it goes. Witsel for Atletico Madrid. We played 10 minutes of the second half on Talksport. Looks like it's going to be another frustrating night for the travelling Celtic fans. Here is the ball into the box, looking to pick out Morata. Griezmann tidies up midway point of the Celtic half. Riquelme goes for the byline, left-hand side, pulls it back to the far post, nodded down by Molina. Only half cleared. Llorente trying to find his man, but it's just whacked downfield. Anywhere will do for Celtic just to get it out of harm's way, but it's just going to keep coming back at them.
Literally, the ball's been in Celtic's half for all of this second half, near enough, and Atletico just not found the opportunities. They've had a lot of entries, but it's just not fell for a clear-cut opportunity so far.
St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 1 in the Scottish Premiership. Shane Blaney gets one back for the Mothers, but St Johnstone, bottom of the SPFL, still holding sway in that one Scottish Premiership game tonight. Don't forget the Sports Bar coming up at 10 with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. 03717223344. Celtic fans and Manchester City fans can react first anywhere on national radio to how your teams perform tonight. And it's still 1-1 between Ipswich and Rotherham in that game at the New York Stadium in the Championship. And it's 2-0 here to a rampant Atletico Madrid, who you get the feeling could start going through the gears and really put Celtic further behind. Diego Simeone been with Atletico Madrid since December 2011, over 640 games in charge, and his win percentage at nearly 60%, so consistent. And he won the La Liga title as a player and a manager with Atletico.
It's incredible, his record at this football club, and I'm sure time and time again he's had opportunities to be prized away, but he's synonymous with this place.
Correa up to the edge of the area for Atletico. Plenty of Celtic shirts around him. Finds Griezmann, who was suddenly free left-hand side of the area, but he couldn't wrap his left foot round it, and it went wide of the angle of post and bar at Joe Hart's right-hand post. Goal kick Celtic, 2-0 Atletico.
Yeah, dare I say it, I think Griezmann took the wrong opportunity there. He's opened his body up and used his side foot. Maybe just let that ball come across you and put your full laces through it.
Griezmann wins a header as the clearance from Joe Hart seemed to be attracted to the Frenchman like a magnet. Llorente for Atleti tucks it infield to Koke, into the feet of Morata. Lovely quick passing from Atleti down the right-hand side of the box. Now Koke puts it into the area, up go the heads. It's punched away by Hart, but it comes out to Koke, keeps it away from Kyogo, and now Llorente has it for Atleti. Tosses the ball into the box, over the head of Morata. Griezmann! What a goal! The ball came to Antoine Griezmann on the 6-yard line, and he instinctively flung his left foot at it, and it crashed into the bottom corner. He's deserved that. A second goal on the night for Antoine Griezmann, best player on the park, and Celtic's night is going from bad to worse in Madrid. It's Atletico 3, Celtic 0.
Well, as you rightly say, he's been by far the best player on the pitch, and when the ball's come to him, he's facing away from goal and he's hooked his left foot around it, just offside from the original ball in. Not sure whether he'll be called back on that at all. He's dropped back into an onside position, and then just arced his left foot around it and finished superbly well.
Well, the ball hadn't even started to drop from when it had inadvertently been headed back across the face of goal, I think by Alistair Johnson. Pure instinct from Antoine Griezmann. They are checking for offside, but he wasn't directly involved in play from the original cross, and by the time it was headed back across the face of goal, as you said, Stuart Pearce, comfortably in an onside position. Antoine Griezmann, 3-0. Change made by Celtic. Paolo Bernardo has been withdrawn and David Turnbull's come on to replace him, and Kyogo has also gone off for Celtic, and Yang has come on to replace him. So Hyun Yang, another South Korean, joined from Korean football in July, yet to score for Celtic. He's come on to replace him, and the referee has confirmed that the goal stands, as we all knew. Don't really know why it's taken that long to discern whether that was indeed a goal or not, but we're back underway, and Brendan Rodgers, penny for his thoughts right now. He probably suspected when they were already a goal down and then going a man down that this wasn't going to be his night. And Celtic's long quest for success on the road in Europe continues. 3-0 down. And I guess if you're a substitute that's coming on at this point, you think, oh, cheers.
I'll keep warming up, thanks. Yeah, and to be fair, Madrid have been the best side, there's no doubt about that in this game. And thrown into the complication of it all, Celtic have lost a man pretty early in the game. So
crossfield ball looked inside the area for Molina, almost latched onto it, but there was enough of a flick on it from Craig Taylor to keep it away from the full control of the right wing back for Atletico. And then there's a foul on Hyun Yang, so it's a free kick to Celtic. So South Korean front pairing for Celtic now, with Hyun-Gyu Oh and Hyun Yang out there, but there's a couple of changes being readied by Atletico. We've got a bit of a injury crisis at the minute. I haven't been able to name a full complement of substitutes here tonight. Diego Simeone. Ball's cleared by Atleti, but only as far as Odin Thiago home for Celtic. He's won a throw out on the far right-hand side. And they've given the ball away, Celtic, as they tried to build. And it's Morata holding the ball up on halfway. Feeds it into Angel Correa. Llorente just on his outside, midway point of the Celtic half. Just tucks it back in field for the ever-industrious Koke. Koke again almost dispossessed by O. And then Koke just works it in field to Witsel. Axel Witsel tidies up, back to halfway, and Jimenez. Griezmann calling for it inside left position, tucks it neatly in field to Hermoso, and then Griezmann spots Llorente in space and floats the ball over to him on this near side, the Atleti right. Correa comes short to the edge of the area, onto his left, and drills the ball well wide in the end. Good 4 or 5 yards wide. Goal kick, Celtic 3-0 Atleti lead on Talksport.
Yeah, Correa done really well there, but I've got to say, McGregor give his wicket away right on the edge of the box, committed to blocking the first one. Correa just cut it back. And the magician now, Griezmann, is just going off to a standing ovation in this stadium, and rightly so.
Terrific performance, there's no getting away from it. Antoine Griezmann getting better with age, like a fine wine. And he comes off to be replaced by Saul Niguez, who was on loan at Chelsea, you might remember, season before last. And the other change sees Samuel Lino come on for Rodrigo Riquelme. Riquelme's another player who's had a good, confident outing for Atleti this evening.
In all honesty, they have been the best two on the pitch, there's no doubt about that. The connection between the two of them has been very good, but Griezmann's probably just surpassed Riquelme certainly in this second half with everything he's done.
Stuart Pearce alongside me, Ian Danter on Talksport. Celtic 3-0 down in the Wanda Metropolitano. Motherwell equalise at St Johnstone. Mika Biereth makes it St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 2, and Chris Martin equalises for Bristol Rovers at Reading, 1-1 at the Select Car Leasing. But it's 3-0 here, and it's, I hate to say it, but it's damage limitation now for Celtic, as down the right-hand side of the box comes Llorente, clips the ball to the far post. Lino was there, drops at the edge of the box for Koke, tried an ambitious drive, comes out to Lino. Oh, what a goal! He's only just come onto the pitch, Samuel Lino, and he's curled in a fourth from the left-hand side of the penalty area. Joe Hart grasping for thin air. Magnificent hit. Atletico are running riot. They are trampling Celtic into the turf. And we're only midway through the second half. How much worse can this get? Atletico Madrid 4, Celtic 0.
Well, it was a poor header there. I mean, probably similar to sort of Joe Hart's poor punch in the first half that led to the first goal. It's like building up pressure on themselves by not clearing the ball. It was Johnson on that occasion on the back post as a fullback. You've got to clear it high and wide if you can. He's headed it to the edge of the box. Shooting opportunity. The ball was sustained, the attack was sustained, and Lino's just used Johnson's body as a shield to just curl it round into the far corner. A wonderful finish by him.
How Brazilian was that from Samuel Lino, who spent last year on loan at Valencia, come back to Atleti to fight for a regular first team spot. And moments like that aren't going to do him any harm at all, the 23-year-old. So it's 4-0 to Atleti now, and a quarter of the game to go on Talksport.
I think Brendan being happy with the performances in the first 3 games, well, he'll obviously point at the sending off as a big sort of indicator on the performance, but there's only been one team in this game, and their dance really, certainly since the sending off.
And since the opening goal, since Griezmann struck them in front inside 6 minutes. They're coming forward again, Atleti. Llorente into the area, Correa off the post, and Celtic somehow whack it clear through Callum McGregor. So nearly 5-0. Down the right-hand side goes but he runs into Jimenez and ends up winning a throw for Celtic. Angel Correa, the latest to try his luck for Atletico Madrid. 4-0.
They've been, I tell you, that's the sort of pass they've played that we've just seen. Those little blindside runs, short little pass to the touchline that players are getting on the end of and getting beyond Celtic's back line. That's caused a big problem all night. And we saw it certainly in the first half with that connection between Riquelme and Griezmann.
Jimenez kicks the ball away from and now Witsel at the edge of his own 18-yard line with Yang coming to close him down. And they're just passing the ball around quite casually in their own defensive third. Atletico Madrid, but then ball up over halfway is gobbled up by Carter Vickers and then Scales. Ball's back on halfway with Liam Scales. So 4-0 to the Spanish side.
When you look at the performance and the result tonight, and I quantify that.
Let's break off for a minute as is coming forward for Celtic, but there were about 4 or 5 red and white shirts around him. He was never going to break through the lines there, unfortunately for him. And it's back with the Spanish side. Sorry, Stuart Pearce, you were saying?
Yeah, I was just saying, when you look at the performance, and I quantify that by Celtic have been a player down for a long period of this game. The home performance and the home result looks a little bit more impressive by Celtic, doesn't it? Because it's just been one team tonight. Atletico have dominated the game.
And they're stroking the ball around again, the home side. Koke in possession just over the halfway line. Just flicks it to his right for Witsel. And then Molina back to the halfway line, and Koke. Wigan retake the lead against Peterborough in League One. Callum McManaman with 8 minutes to go at the DW. Wigan 2, Peterborough 1. Goal kick to Celtic. Celtic fans, phone and moan, why don't you, to Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, with the sports bar open for business at 10 o'clock. So half an hour before the boys start taking your calls about the boys. 03717 223344 for your calls to Jamie and Jason. Man City fans can also get in touch. In fact, whilst they're making a change here, Callum McGregor coming off and Tomoki Iwata coming on. Let's check in at the Etihad with Talksport's Mickey Gray.
Yeah, still Manchester City 3, Young Boys 0. City just dominating possession now. They've had chance after chance. Phil Foden just coming close a second ago with his left foot. Nice little run in towards the 18-yard box, but you can only see the home side scoring more goals in this game because Young Boys have not really threatened at all in this game. Manchester City 3, Young Boys 0.
Thank you, Mickey. Tomoki Iwata, Japanese, is on for Callum McGregor for another change for Celtic. 4-0 down, remember, less than 20 minutes to go here on Talksport at the Wanda Metropolitano. The other game in this group, Lazio, still 1-0 up against Feyenoord.
Yeah, Atletico just brought Azpilicueta on for a run out, and I think both teams are making substitutes, really, just to rest players and see them through the rest of the game. One team for one reason, and Celtic, I think, for another, to look ahead for what they've got coming up the weekend.
Yep, Cesar Azpilicueta, over 500 appearances for Chelsea in 10 years. Came to Atleti in the summer. Arguably the best 7 or 8 million quid Chelsea ever spent in the modern era on a player.
Wonderful signing and a wonderful servant for the club.
But now wearing the red and white stripes of Atleti, hasn't scored here yet, and he's only been on the losing side against Brendan Rodgers once in all his time with Chelsea, and that was that FA Cup final at Wembley with the Yuri Tielemans wonder strike. And I think it's safe to say he won't be on the losing side tonight here either. 4-0 to Atletico Madrid against 10-man Celtic. And Azpilicueta just turns away from his opponents like they can't get anywhere near him. It was David Turnbull who was completely bamboozled by Azpilicueta's turn. And now the ball is with Hermoso. Lino, who'd scored that majestic fourth for the home side. Short passes picked off by Greg Taylor, but then he was dispossessed almost immediately by Azpilicueta. Correa goes down, clutching his midriff like he's been caught off the ball. Referee says play on, and Atleti won the ball back anyway. Witsel leaves it for Koke. They're just taking the game down to walking pace at times now, Atleti. They don't need to extend themselves any further.
No, their work was done, I think, when the second goal hit the back of the net just before half-time. That was the killer for Celtic. And since then, they've rattled the woodwork a couple of times. Joe Hart's made a couple of good saves, and they're still full up.
Azpilicueta into the box. Leaves it for Llorente, right-hand corner of the area. Little nod down under pressure from Sarniguez, and he's won it back from Yang. Whips in the ball, it's headed out to the edge of the area. Hermoso tries to pick it up, but then it's nodded back by Lino to Jimenez in the centre circle. And Celtic just cannot hang on to the ball for any length of time. Lino looks for Azpilicueta, right-hand side of the area, floats it to around the penalty spot. Again, there's enough Celtic shirts back there to nod it clear. And then the ball sent downfield looking for O. They can't keep the ball in play on the far side. And Atleti have another throw. Just over a quarter of an hour to go. And a player that Brendan Rodgers knows well from his time at Leicester's about to come on. Shagla Soyuncu is about to enter the fray for Atletico Madrid for these last few minutes.
Yeah, both managers now chopping and changing their starting lineups.
But as you say, for
varying reasons. Exactly that.
Lino down the left-hand side for Atleti. Niguez out there with him. Ball's back with Koke. So it's an amazing servant, Koke. Heading towards 600 appearances for Atletico Madrid. Lino just inside the area, left-hand side. Players making overlapping runs, but he's rolled it back to Hermoso. Lino again, left-hand corner of the box. Gives it back to Hermoso, out on the left-hand side. Koke spots Witsel in a bit of space just ahead of the centre circle. Witsel looks up and slides it into the path of Azpilicueta down the right-hand side. His shorts look twice as long as anybody else's out there, Azpilicueta.
That's what happens when you get a bit old on a football pitch.
I thought there was a reason. Koke puts the ball into the box, chesting down from Morata. Oh, what a goal! What a goal, Alvaro Morata! Set up by Lino, who chested it down to him at the edge of the area. It required the finish, and goodness me, it got a finish. Absolutely thumped home by Alvaro Morata. Quarter of an hour to go, and Celtic have been put to the sword, good and proper, in the Wanda Metropolitano. Atletico Madrid 5, Celtic 0.
Well, the ball's come to Morata at the edge of the box, and he's not run onto it. He was in a static position, and the backlift and the power that he achieved, it was chested back brilliantly, and he's just moved it from right foot to left foot, but he's had no run up at the ball, so to generate the power that he actually has without any run up dance is quite incredible. And Lino's played a big part in that, by the way. He's pinned Carter Vickers and just set the ball off with his chest.
Scored the fourth, set up the fifth. Second of the night for Alvaro Morata. And Soyuncu has now come on for Jimenez to play out these last, 13 minutes of normal time. Leipzig 2-0 up at Red Star in the Champions League. Luis Openda with the second for the German side. And we've just caught sight of Brendan Rodgers chewing his gum at the edge of his technical area. Having returned to Celtic, hoping to improve their lot in European football. Even the Europa League now looks like a very, very tough, if not impossible ask at this point, Stuart, with 2 games to go. Away at Lazio next up at the end of the month, and then home to Feyenoord in mid-December to round it all off.
Yeah, this result will be very hurtful to them, there's no doubt about that. They've had a real chasing today, 5 goals have hit the back of the net, and on top of that a couple of woodworks have been rattled, and Joe Hart, you wouldn't say he's had a bad game, would you really? You know, on top of that he's made a couple of saves that have kept his team sort of, semi-afloat.
Witsel on halfway, plays the ball into the feet of Correa. He's trying to help it on for Morata, just couldn't take the ball in his stride, but Morata wins it back. Lino's there again at the edge of the area, checked onto his right, goes for goal again, and that's only just wide. Again Joe Hart was flying across to his left, hope it wouldn't go inside the post. And for Joe Hart on this occasion, he was in luck, it went just the wrong side. Goal kick, stays 5-0 on Talksport.
Yeah, it was almost a carbon copy of the goal that he got, but the one thing that they've done badly, and that whole effort come from a real poor pass from Celtic, and they've a couple of poor clearances in the game have cost them in goals, and that one again, a poor pass, 30 metres out from their goal, almost cost them another goal.
Colchester wrapped it up in League 2. They lead Swindon by 3-1 in stoppage time. Noah Chilvers 3 wins in a row then for the U's. Swindon Town following up that disastrous FA Cup performance, losing 7-4 at home to Aldershot on Saturday.
That was incredible. I looked at the score, it went 7-0.
It did go. So I was sat with Perry doing our commentary game on Saturday afternoon with every goal that went in. Yeah, shaking my head just like you were. In fact, Aldershot took the lead before most people had settled into their seats at the county ground. And there'll be a few shifting in their seats uneasily at Swindon Town tonight after that. Michael Flynn included, the manager. Colchester have now beaten Swindon 3-1. That's now a full-time score in League 2. 5-0 to Atletico Madrid here against a out-of-sorts Celtic. 10 minutes to go on Talksport. It's merely a question, Stuart, of this point, of how many more Atletico want to try and go and score.
Well, exactly that. We're on the 80th minute, just touching at the moment, and you know full well Celtic will be absolutely delighted with only 10 minutes left, but you know full well there's probably be another 5 minutes on top of that at least.
Point to say for Bolton as well in League One. Aaron Morley in the 98th minute makes it Shrewsbury 0, Bolton Wanderers 2 at the Greenhouse Meadow. That is going to be 5 straight wins for the Trotters under Ian Evatt. Starting the night in 3rd place. Peterborough starting the night in 4th, trailing by 2-1 at Wigan Athletic. Here on Talksport, it's Atletico Madrid 5, Celtic 0. We are into the last 10 minutes of normal time. And Alistair Johnston still gamely working down the right-hand side, tried to get away from Lino, but the substitute closed down the space. Johnston couldn't keep it in play, and it's a throw to the Spanish side in their own left-back position.
Yeah, there's a lot of forlorn faces in the Celtic lineup at the moment, and you know, Champions League football's brilliant, but when you do get a chasing, you know, at places like Atletico, it is very, very tough.
Well, Witsel passes the ball out from his own edge, trying to find Azpilicueta on the right-hand side, and he slips it further down the right to Llorente. Llorente with an early ball in field to Correa, 25 yards out. Now Azpilicueta joins in again. Llorente looks to the edge of the box. Correa on the right-hand corner of the area. Quick feet from the Argentine. Rolls it back to Koke. Witsel. There's plenty forward in red and white striped shirts. They want to add to this scoreline. Azpilicueta plays the ball in field. Koke will now work it back to Soyuncu at the edge of the centre circle. Hermoso out to the left-hand side. And Sol Niguez. Lino's out there too. Red Star get a goal back at home to Leipzig in the Champions League. Benjamin Heinrichs makes it Red Star 1, Leipzig 2. 8 minutes of normal time to go. And Azpilicueta driving forward for Atletico into the area. Correa tries to turn from just inside the box, but he ran into danger. Celtic got it clear, but it's one back. Lino out to the left-hand corner of the box. Sarniguez drives for the byline, lifts it across the face of goal, too high for Correa on the 6-yard line, but Azpilicueta keeps it in play on this near side, aided and abetted by Witsel, who work it back to Soyuncu, a free transfer from Leicester in the summer after their relegation. Oh, lovely ball forward to find Llorente for Atletico, inside the D, goes for goal, but it's straight at Joe Hart, who gratefully collects it in both gloves, and it stays 5-0 to Atletico Madrid on Talksport.
Yeah, what Celtic have been really poor at, I've got to say, in this game, when they've cleared the ball and it's come out maybe 30 yards and it's found an advanced midfield player in their own half or a striker that's dropped back, they failed to get the team up the pitch in any way, shape or form. They've lost possession of the ball or got outnumbered by a good defensive press, and they just haven't been able to get out their own half for basically the whole of this half, to be honest.
Just giving the ball away cheaply again there, and Atletico slow the game down around the centre circle. St Johnstone 2, Motherwell 2, a final score in the Scottish Premiership. Wigan have beaten Peterborough by 2-1. Sorry, Adrian. And it's also finished Shrewsbury 0, Bolton 2. Azpilicueta for Atletico Madrid. Down the right-hand side of the box for Llorente. Keeps the ball in at the byline. At the far post, Lino with a drive. And Soniguez tucks it away for number 6 from right underneath the crossbar. And the misery is complete, surely, for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic and the travelling Scottish contingent, because Atletico Madrid have scored 6 of the best, and even Soniguez is getting in on the act, on the goal trail from right underneath the crossbar. Celtic's defence at 6s and 7s, and now they're 6 down and could maybe be 7. There's still 5 minutes left. Atletico Madrid 6, Celtic 0.
It's that run again, that blindside run to the touchline that was pulled back that caused all the problems. And then Sal's had a swing at the far post when Lino's pulled it across the face of goal. And fortunately for him, he got the opportunity for a second effort. misfired on the first one, and well, he just poked it into the roof of the net. But good movement, I've got to say, to get to the once again, great blindside runs. Azpilicueta just sliding the ball to Llorente.
Well, he's nearing 400 appearances in that Atleti shirt, Sarniga. It's not known for his goal scoring. He scored one, I think, during his time at Chelsea, when he was on loan at Stamford Bridge. And I would like to say that the route is now complete.
Yeah.
But
as you and I know, there's probably more pain out there. The way creating chances, that's for sure.
Well, they're enjoying themselves out there, Atletico Madrid. There's no question about that. And so are the supporters, who are bouncing up and down at the Wanda Metropolitano as Azpilicueta comes down the right-hand side, but elects to go back for Witsel. Maybe they're dreaming again, the Atleti fans, of a trip to a Champions League final, which is Wembley next year. Once we get into the spring, Manchester United in action against FC Copenhagen. That's tomorrow night's live commentary on Talksport, 8 o'clock kickoff. And don't forget the sports bar's on the way at 10 tonight, so you've got just less than a quarter of an hour to book your call for Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy to speak to you after 10 tonight about all tonight's action and all the day's talking points. Mikel Arteta doubling down on his comments on Sunday, or Saturday rather, after the Newcastle defeat. Here's Llorente with a cross into the box, just ahead of Lino, who was sliding into the 6-yard box. In truth, the ball was about 2 yards away from him. Didn't stop him sliding in to try and make contact. Goal kick Celtic, 6-0.
No, Llorente just stretching for it slightly, so I don't think it could put the curl on it that would bring it back to Lino, and his slide was in vain.
There was just a slow, rueful shake of the head by Brendan Rodgers in the technical area a moment or so ago. Joe Hart takes a goal kick downfield, flicked on by O, but Soyuncu tidies up. Oblak, who's had next to nothing to do this evening, passes out to Hermoso, who dummies it and allows Lino to take over. He gives it back to Hermoso, who plays it into the centre of the Atleti half. Llorente does enough to keep it away from O, and Azpilicueta now has it on the right-hand side. Into the last 3 minutes of normal time on Talksport.
Yeah, there's some half-hearted attempts at shutting down now from Celtic, and there's absolutely nothing in the game for them, that is for sure.
Lino out on the left-hand side for Athletic, in the centre of the Celtic half. He's got a man on the overlap, uses him. It's Niguez, he clips it up looking for Llorente's header and headed over the crossbar by Turnbull for a late corner for Athletic. 6-0 they lead.
Yeah, fantastic cross into an area. It is perfect, centre of the goal, 6 yards out with an invite on it. Come and get there, but Turnbull, credit to him, recovered well just to put it behind for a corner.
So a corner on the right-hand side for Atletico Madrid. Taken short by Koke into the edge of the area, but it deflected off Greg Taylor as Correa tried to turn. So another short corner. Azpilicueta works it back for Lino. It's down the Atletico right. Koke level with the edge of the area. Plays it in field. Celtic try and push out and force an offside, but it's with Lino. Now Celtic have to drop back into the area. Sarniguez, who's just scored the 6th, lays it off for Koke, his midfield teammate. Azpilicueta gives it back to Koke. Niguez looking for an angle, just curls it out to the left-hand side, where it's kept in play. Hermoso plays it down to Soyuncu. They're all queuing up, wanting to have a go. Floated to the far right-hand side. Azpilicueta across the face of goal, palmed out by Hart, and Greg Taylor just puts his foot through it. Ipswich Town lead on Talksport 2 with 3 minutes to go. They've come from behind to lead at Rotherham by 2-1. Jack Taylor, a really scrappy goal. That's live on Talksport 2 right now, and Ipswich are looking to go 11 unbeaten in the Championship. and keep the pressure on Leicester above them. You need the closing stages of that game with Mark Wilson and Courtney Sweetman-Kirk over on Talksport 2 with about 2 minutes of normal time to go at the New York. Rotherham 1, Ipswich 2.
Chu just been booked there.
Yeah, for a foul on the but the free kick from Celtic comes to absolutely nothing, Stuart Pearce. Nothing has gone right for Celtic this evening.
No, exactly that. A judgment call on a red card, which I think was probably fair. I'm not sure you could argue too much about it, but I'm sure someone out there will. And then since that moment on, really, they've been dominated, Celtic.
So we're into 2 minutes of minimum added time. Porto are leading Antwerp by 2-0. The veteran Pepe with a second for Porto. Here's Llorente sliding the ball down the right-hand side of the box. Correa wins a corner off Scales. There is time yet for Atletico to try and sneak a seventh here.
There is. It's that run that's absolutely killed them time and time and time again. Players on the point of the box just sliding the ball for a diagonal run in behind the back line to be pulled across the face of goal.
Do you know what? I think the referee's taken pity on Celtic by only putting 2 minutes on the board.
100%. It should be negotiable, actually, how much time you put on. If the team that are getting beat that much... There was on occasion when I managed, I would always go to the fourth official and say, we don't need too much, fella, by the way.
Ball into the box, Salniguez brings it down at the dead ball line, across the face of goal, only half cleared by Celtic. Witzel's trying to get onto it at the right-hand corner of the area. Celtic trying to get the ball clear. It's won back by Witzel, tight to the touchline, just rolls his foot on the ball to get it back to Salniguez. Manchester City have beaten Young Boys by 3-0. We'll be back with Mickey Gray and Adrian Durham at the Etihad very shortly to round off the evening's entertainment there. But the evening's entertainment is over, but it's been not the least bit entertaining for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic. They have been crushed by 6-0 by a rampant Atletico Madrid, who'd taken the lead through Antoine Griezmann before Daisen Maeda had his yellow card upgraded to a red by VAR early in the first half, and then Atleti just went through the motions. 2 each for Griezmann and Morata. A brilliant goal from substitute Lino midway through the second half, and then Salniguez getting in on the act with the 6th. Celtic just could not cope with Atletico Madrid, and their European hopes, even for Europa League qualification, now hang by the slimmest of threads. Full time at the Wanda Metropolitano. Atletico Madrid 6, Celtic 0.
Wow, that is a beating. Let me tell you that live on Talksport 2 right now, it's just got very, very interesting. Rotherham United in the bottom 3 have just equalised at home to Ipswich, who are second, 2-2. They're into injury time. The final stages, closing moments on Talksport 2. Just tell your smart speaker to play Talksport 2. That's live over there right now. But Stuart Pearce, by the way, City have won 3-0 here. We'll recap what's happened here at the Etihad very shortly. City are through yet again to the knockout stages. But Stuart Pearce, that's not just a beating, that's a thrashing for Celtic tonight. I mean, they had no answer to what Atletico Madrid brought to them, especially down to 10 men.
Well, more so down to 10 men. I think they would have been beaten tonight if it was equal numbers, but as soon as it went down and they lost a player on 20-odd minutes, they had no chance, especially with Griezmann and Riquelme in the form that they are in, causing absolute mayhem.
They're just starting to get things right at home. Unlucky against Lazio, they had a winner ruled out, and then Lazio deep into injury time went and scored a winner, and then get a 2-2 draw against Atletico Madrid and play well. But away from home, they're 2 sent off in Rotterdam against Feyenoord, 1 sent off tonight, beaten in Holland, thrashed tonight. Away from home, something's going drastically wrong.
Well, this is the highest level of football, and you cannot take anybody on in Europe, and I'm talking about anybody in Europe, with a man down. It's just physically impossible to do so. So that's got to be your starting point, trying to keep a full consortium of players on the pitch, because we've just seen what happens when you go a man down against a top European side.
Well, let me give you a couple of stats, Stuart. It's 1 clean sheet now in 38 away Champions League games for Celtic. They have conceded 95 goals in those, it's 38 games, 95 goals in 38 games, which is an astonishing, breathtaking record. Brendan Rodgers is trying to change that narrative. He's trying to rewrite the script, trying to turn what is a massive tanker around, a tanker of crushing defeat in the Champions League and failure to qualify for the round of 16 yet again, it seems, for Celtic. And it just feels like he's fighting a losing battle. He couldn't do it first time around. 10 years ago they were beaten Barcelona 2-1. They beat Milan. They beat Man United. They had some terrific, memorable results and nights, especially at Celtic Park. But he's just finding it so difficult. It's almost an impossible job to turn that around, given the lack of resources.
Yeah, and it's not easy. Good teams in Europe suffered bad defeats as well, and Celtic just couldn't match the ability, and coupled with that, some poor clearances when they were clearing their lines slightly to the edge of the box, which attacks ended up being sustained and ended up in the back of their net. So there was at least 2 or 3 occasions where poor clearances or a poor punch by the goalie has ended up resulting in the attack being sustained and ending up in the back of the net, and they were punished badly for it.
Listen, there's some great goals in there. Lino's goal was fantastic. Sal's goal was brilliant as well, Morata. But Antoine Griezmann, I think, gave a very special performance tonight. If you paid good money to watch that inside the Wanda Metropolitano, he has repaid you in full. That was sensational from the Frenchman.
It certainly was. I mean, not just what he done when he had the ball at his feet, but out of possession, what he done for his team when they needed it. And then he picked up the mantle after the sending off when they dominated the ball. It was him every time it come to him, a goal effort or a goal come about with his contribution to the game. He had a super game, he really did.
Stuart, enjoyed your company tonight. Thank you very much. Celtic thrashed by 6 goals to 0. We'll go through all the full times very shortly, but it was comfortable.